Welcome everybody to the 2022 GMC Canyon AT4. The AT4 is basically making the car a bit more off-road special. GMC has an AT4 variant for all of its vehicles, and the Canyon AT4 is a little bit a serious off-roader compared to other variants that are available in the Canyon. The AT4 variant brings some very specific changes, like a more specific serious off-roading all-terrain tires, which have a really awesome tread design. Red tow hooks to help you if you get stuck in your off-roading adventures, and all the chrome is now smoked chrome. It's D-chrome from the factory, which I think, especially complemented by the black color that we have behind us, I think it looks really good. Let's see how this truck is. And as I said before, has some changes compared to the regular Canyon that is available on other variants. Things that stand out is the big grille, which is again a usual GMC affair, but it's not chrome, it's smoked chrome. So it has slight darker elements on the grille, big GMC logo as well, and big headlights that have a DRL and turning indicators integrated into it. Look in the bottom half of the bumper and you'll find red tow hooks, which are specific to the AT4 variant, and this car has a sort of a rubberized protection in the bumper as well. I'm not sure why it's there, because since this is an off-roading variant, the approach angle should be better, but because of that rubber addition, it kind of reduces the approach angle, so it kind of defeats the purpose. I think this can be removed from the factory, and I think it should be if you plan to buy this truck. The side profile of the GMC Canyon is a very standard affair that you would find in other variants as well. But some things that are different to the AT4, as I mentioned before, are the chunky all-terrain tires, which actually lend a very cool appeal to the whole vehicle. The tread pattern is aggressive and it really stands out on the road compared to other Canyons that you would see on the road. The side steps are slightly altered for a bit more aggression. The off-road, it's sort of like a sliders, so it probably would help you. It won't affect your off-roading abilities. It won't probably beat you like regular side steps would. Everything else, it's just a regular Canyon affair. Nothing special going on. But these two are the standouts that make this appeal of the vehicle go higher. There's also AT4 badging to let you know which variant this car is. The rear of the GMC Canyon AT4 is again a very simplistic, no cuts and creases on the tailgate. It's got a lot of badging. It's got the GMC Canyon AT4 and the V6. This is the V6 engine, so it has the badging. The rear bumpers have a provision on the side where you can climb on it and get into the bed. The bed has a tonneau cover. It's an option, but it's an option that's been ticked for this vehicle, and it's a good option because then it keeps your luggage away from all the eyes on the road. The exhausts usually on cars are be found from the bottom, but in this truck the exhaust comes in from the right side of the truck, from the bottom right side. It doesn't come from behind, which is a unique touch, I would say. The tailgate is fairly simple to operate. Once you do open the tailgate, it's fairly simple, nothing special. You get access to the 1169 liter cargo space. Pretty big. We fit in a lot of stuff. We put in a bed and it fit in very easily. Impressive to say the least. Now we're inside the 2022 GMC Canyon AT4, and first things first, you'll notice is there's a mix of a lot of materials inside the car. You'll find leather at places, you'll find aluminium, you'll find some hard plastics, some soft plastics, hard plastics around with a carbon fiber look around the center console, around the doors as well. Lots of aluminium finish on the gear lever, around the AC vents, a lot of plastics in the center console as well. A lot of mix of materials. It'll keep you busy, it'll keep you occupied. The seats are fully leather. It has got a sort of like a carbon fiber pattern as well. It's got AT4 branding as well. The seats themselves are pretty comfortable, good lumbar support, and it's got good adjustments as well. One funny thing though, the seat base is electrically controlled, the seat back is manually controlled. Beyond me, I've never seen this setup before. The 8-inch screen has Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, not wireless like other General Motor brands with the similar infotainment. It's all wired in here. And the instrument console has a small 4-inch screen with just enough information you would require, like the trip meters, fuel economy, oil life, and all that stuff. Rest, again, a lot of mix of materials, some cheap plastic, some nice feeling plastic, some leather around. Mixed bag, but I guess this is the work truck, and for a work truck it's a good place to be inside. The rear seat of the Canyon, as you can see, it can accommodate a person of my size. I'm 5'8". The driving seat is adjusted to my driving position. I have enough knee room, I have enough headroom as well. I've got enough space. The backrest is just the perfect, not too upright. Under thigh support is a little on the lower side, but not a problem, not a deal breaker. The windows are pretty big, but the lack of a sunroof in this vehicle might bring it to a little dark ambient, especially with the black interiors inside. But the windows make up for it. They're pretty big. You have an armrest which have two big cup holders, and you do have a rear glass as well, which obviously slides open as well. Again, you've got basic amenities. You've got two USB-A ports and a 12-volt charging port, but that's about it. Not much going on, simplistic, but it's actually not that bad in the back here. Now I'm in the driving position of the GMC Canyon, and when you'll notice is when you get in, there is no grab handle, so you'll actually have to work hard to get into the driving seat. And then when you see the fob, you'll realize it has keyless, but when you actually try to start the car, you'll realize that you actually have a secondary key which you need to start the car manually. It's been a long while since I've done that, but once you start the key, the engine is on. The refinement of the 3.6 liter V6 engine is quite stellar. You can hardly tell it's even on, which is a really good job. It has about 320 horsepower. It's a naturally aspirated V6, has enough grunt for all the overtakes and everything. It's also mated to a 10-speed torque converter gearbox with a manual override option as well. But let's see how this truck drives. So slotted to drive, let go of the brake, and mild inputs of throttle, and the car picks up speed really well. You're easily doing 20-30 kph without much of an effort. Once you do start driving, you do realize that this car is a bit on the heavy side, and this truck does weigh close to 2.7 tons, which is quite a lot for a mid-sized truck, considering that full-size trucks are close to the 3-ton mark, so not much difference there. The ride is actually pretty good. For a body-on-frame, body-on-frame vehicles tend to pitch and bounce and roll a lot more, but this one actually drives really well, especially in the highways, and considering this has the full-blooded all-terrain tires with extremely aggressive tread patterns. It actually rides really, really well, especially on tarmac, paved roads. Obviously the bumps do filter in for sure, but it's very controlled, and you can do long distances on these tires and on this car really, really well. The steering feedback is quite on point. You know how much exactly the wheels are turning, which makes it easy to park this big truck in tight spaces. I mean, the driving dynamics is pretty good. The 3.6 engine has pretty poke. When you floor it, it takes a while to downshift, and then it picks up speed really, really well. It's a really smooth motor, and before you know it, you're already hitting speed limits enforced as well. So again, the driving dynamics is really good. The brake pedal is again really nice, stops on a dime. The travel and everything is good. As I said, I cannot emphasize enough, the driving dynamics is actually almost faultless. The ride, handling, engine combo is pretty good, and kudos to GMC for pulling it off really, really well. In conclusion then, the 2022 GMC Canyon AT4, it's an off-road based variant, and I think this car pulls it off well. The credential, the chunky tires and the sliders and the tow hooks, it looks special, definitely stands out on the road. It's got some basic features to make daily driving just that much more easier, and the payload and the cargo bed space is sufficient for most of the work. Again, we must remember that it is a mid-sized truck, not a full-size truck, so obviously the expectations won't be as high. For a mid-sized truck, I think this truck pulls off most of the things really well. It could do perhaps with a slightly updated interior, but perhaps GMC is planning that for the 2023 or 2024 version of the Canyon. I'd be looking forward to drive that, but so far I was pretty happy with the way this truck is, and definitely one should consider when they're buying a mid-sized truck.